Chosen one, there's something stirring in the spiritual realm, and it has your name on it. A massive check is on its way to you, but this is no ordinary check. It's not just paper and ink. It's not just digits and dollars. This is heaven's signature of approval. A divine receipt that proves what you've sown in tears is now returning in joy. What's coming represents answered prayers, long-awaited justice, and supernatural provision. It carries the weight of promises fulfilled, promises that once felt delayed, forgotten, or impossible. But God never forgot, and now what you thought was out of reach is about to land right in your hands. Don't move too quickly past this moment, because you're standing at the edge of something extraordinary. Can you sense it? This is more than just timing. This is divine orchestration, the kind that shifts atmospheres, breaks cycles, and opens gates no man can shut. The kind that only happens when God himself says, "Now is the time." Before we go any further, I want to pause and thank those of you who have been faithfully supporting this channel through super thanks. Your kindness does not go unnoticed. You are part of this light, and I'm deeply grateful for each of you. If this message is already stirring something inside your spirit, go to the comments and boldly type 777 as a prophetic act of alignment, of divine confirmation, of saying, "Yes, I receive it." And one more thing, stay with me until the very end of this video, because as you listen to every word, something powerful will begin to activate in your life. You're not just watching a message, you are stepping into a shift. And when it's over, don't forget to speak your deepest wish into the comments and add the number 99, a sacred symbol of completion and breakthrough. That number carries a vibration. It tells the heavens, "I'm ready." Now here's the real question. Why is this check coming now? Why you? Why after all this time? What is God setting you up for behind the scenes that others cannot see? You're about to find out. Let's step into the mystery together. God's chosen ones, a massive check is on its way. God is with you. This message has reached you today for a divine reason. It isn't mere coincidence. God has specifically chosen you, not randomly, but purposefully. Your life has been uniquely set apart, hasn't it? Perhaps you found yourself pondering why your path seems unusually challenging and solitary compared to others around you. At times, even you struggle to understand why your journey felt so prolonged, and why each promising door seemed to close just as you were about to step through. Maybe you wondered why your struggles continued far longer than they appeared to for others, and why the rewards often didn't seem proportional to the effort you faithfully poured in. Yet, the deeper truth is this: your journey has never been about denial. It was always about divine preparation. Like precious metals refined through intense heat and pressure, God allowed these trials not to harm you, but to perfect you, molding you into someone capable of carrying a blessing far greater than you've imagined. Consider the journey of Joseph in Genesis. Betrayed by his brothers, thrown into slavery, and unjustly imprisoned. He must have wondered why his life took such painful turns, but God had a bigger vision, as Joseph eventually proclaimed, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good, to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives." Genesis 50:20. Could it be that your own difficult seasons were similarly intended by God to set you up for extraordinary favor? Even now, something magnificent is already unfolding for you, a massive check symbolizing divine overflow and supernatural provision. Yet, let's be clear, this is not merely a financial instrument from a bank or an ordinary source. This is directly from the Creator, an abundant payout from the heavens themselves, marking the moment your faith and spiritual perseverance bear tangible fruit. Hebrews 11:1 reminds us beautifully, "Now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see." How many times have you demonstrated precisely this kind of faith, choosing to believe when there was no visible evidence, planting seeds when the soil seemed barren, and continuing forward despite countless reasons to surrender? Such faith is never overlooked by heaven. It is always recognized and honored. Your steadfast commitment echoes the story of Abraham, who held firm to God's promise of descendants, even when it seemed impossible. Scripture describes Abraham as fully persuaded that God had power to do what he had promised. Romans 4:21. Your own conviction, even in moments of quiet despair, has mirrored Abraham's unwavering trust. And now, like him, you are about to see God fulfill his promise beyond your wildest expectations. The magnitude of the blessing you're about to receive is directly proportional to the weight of what you have carried. You refuse to collapse under pressure, becoming stronger, wiser, and more resilient through every trial. Your story might reflect that of J.K. Rowling, who faced overwhelming rejection, poverty, and despair before eventually becoming one of the most successful authors in history. Rowling's determination and faith in her vision ultimately yielded an overflow of success. Similarly, your endurance has not gone unnoticed. Heaven has meticulously documented every tear shed in silence, every whispered prayer, every quiet moment when you bravely masked your pain behind a smile. Psalm 56:8 assures us gently yet powerfully, "You keep track of all my sorrows. You have collected all my tears in your bottle. You have recorded each one in your book." God has indeed remembered each difficult moment, each heartache, and now he is preparing to repay you generously, with divine interest included. This check, this divine overflow soon arriving in your life, will silence doubts and astonish even your closest friends and family. They will see clearly how God was with you every step of your journey. Are you prepared to witness God's abundant provision transform your circumstances? You stand at the threshold of an incredible turnaround. As Ephesians 3:20 beautifully declares, God is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine. Your moment of divine compensation has arrived. Open your heart and get ready. The blessing you've awaited so patiently is finally here. There were moments when certain people wrote you off completely, weren't there? Perhaps they saw your struggles, noticed your prolonged waiting, and assumed you were forgotten by the universe. But those very individuals never knew what God was orchestrating behind the scenes for you. They had no idea that your period of waiting, enduring challenges, and making countless sacrifices was not a season of abandonment, but a divinely arranged preparation for your moment of extraordinary elevation. Soon, they'll witness a reversal so powerful, a shift so undeniable, and an avalanche of blessings so evident, they'll have no choice but to admit that you've been chosen all along. Just as Psalm 23, verse 5 declares, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies." Could it be that your blessing is designed specifically to reveal God's favor to those who once doubted you? The check that's coming, this breakthrough, this divine overflow, it won't arrive quietly or secretly. God is about to display your blessing publicly. The very same stage where you were overlooked, underestimated, and perhaps even humiliated is about to become your platform of celebration. This isn't ego-driven, it's divinely aligned, its destiny fully activated. Much like David, who was overlooked by his own father Jesse when Samuel came to anoint Israel's next king, 1 Samuel 16. David was hidden in obscurity, faithfully tending sheep, yet at the appointed time, God publicly elevated him before the very people who had disregarded him. Isn't it possible that you, like David, have been hidden only to be publicly exalted in God's perfect timing? You might be looking around your life right now thinking, nothing seems to be changing yet. But don't let appearances deceive you. The most significant shifts happen silently, beneath the surface, away from the human eye. Consider how a seed quietly cracks open beneath the soil, growing roots deep into the earth before anyone sees the first sprout emerge. Right now, you are precisely in that sacred moment, the silent breakthrough before the bloom. Your massive blessing, your divine check, isn't merely coming. It's already been activated and set into unstoppable motion. The release has begun. The shift has already been triggered. You don't need to chase after it anymore. It's now actively chasing after you. All you must do is remain open, stay grounded, and maintain an attitude of joyful expectancy. Are you ready to shift your perspective from hoping to receiving? This check is far more significant than just financial prosperity or material blessing. It's also a divine signal, a clear message from heaven that your season of difficulty, struggle, and wilderness has finally reached its appointed end. Just as the Israelites spent 40 challenging years in the desert before finally stepping into the promised land, you too are about to enter your season of ease, freedom, and abundance. Remember what God said through Isaiah. Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? Isaiah 43:18-19. Can you sense that newness unfolding in your life right now? Indeed, you're not about to step into just any ordinary season. You're moving into a reality that feels surreal, almost dreamlike. A season where opportunities actively seek you out, where doors effortlessly open, where things that once felt utterly impossible become your everyday experience. Think of the famous actor Robert Downey Jr., whose life went from public struggles, setbacks, and isolation to global success and recognition, experiencing opportunities that seemed to chase him down once he embraced his divine moment of alignment. Isn't it thrilling to consider that similar breakthroughs are already on their way to you? This divine overflow that's arriving is filled with more than abundance. It's filled with freedom, expansion, and clarity. It's the fulfillment of every prayer whispered in your most challenging moments, the reward for every sacrifice you've quietly made. As you step forward into this incredible new chapter, ask yourself honestly, are you prepared to fully embrace what God has already released into your life? Your breakthrough isn't something far off in the distance. It's unfolding right now. All you have to do is remain expectant, open your heart to receive, and watch in awe as the blessings you've long awaited finally become your daily reality. This message is speaking directly to you, not by coincidence, but by divine orchestration. You've already done something remarkable. You've broken generational chains that have held your family captive for far too long. Have you ever paused to realize just how powerful your journey truly is? By challenging limiting beliefs and stepping boldly into your truth, you've shifted energies not just for yourself, but for your entire lineage. Think of Moses, who courageously confronted Pharaoh to free his people from generations of bondage. Like Moses, your bravery in facing down family cycles, outdated traditions, and limiting beliefs has set into motion a spiritual freedom that will echo for generations to come. That's exactly why your reward must be so extraordinary, because it's about more than just you. This blessing, this massive check from heaven, symbolizes the legacy you are building, the wealth you're anchoring for generations, and the light you're leaving behind. Have you considered how profound your ripple effect truly is? Like King Solomon, whose wisdom and wealth blessed generations after him, your impact will far exceed your physical presence. Such monumental contributions can never remain unpaid. God sees clearly, and your divine payout is already authorized, generational in scope and monumental in scale. Perhaps along this journey you've felt misunderstood, overlooked, or even betrayed by those closest to you. Did you ever wonder if anyone truly saw your pain or acknowledged your sacrifices? Let this reassure you. God witnessed every single moment, every secret tear, every unseen act of kindness. Just as Psalm 139 verse 3 says, "You discern my going out and my lying down. You are familiar with all my ways. Nothing you've experienced has gone unnoticed or unaccounted for." Every painful ounce of your past is about to be transformed. Every sorrow exchanged for abundant joy. Every moment of scarcity replaced with divine overflow. Every lonely night rewarded with deep, meaningful connection. God's precision is unmatched. Not a single drop of your hardship has been wasted. Instead, it's become spiritual currency. Imagine now, in your mind's eye, opening that divine envelope. Can you feel the weight of it in your hands? Picture your name boldly printed, the sum of blessings too large for human comprehension, and the deep peace settling into your heart as you finally see that your suffering has been transformed into supernatural provision. This isn't wishful thinking. This is faith in action, manifesting into reality. Like Oprah Winfrey, who transformed her own painful upbringing into generational wealth and worldwide impact, your trials are becoming the foundation of your greatest triumph. You aren't delusional or unrealistic for believing in something greater. Quite the opposite. You are perfectly aligned with divine intention. You've entered into the right vibration, exactly where God intended you to be. Now the universe is moving swiftly to match your frequency. Financial blessings, peace of mind, spiritual elevation. It's all included in this divine package that's already yours. Recall Jeremiah 29:11. "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future." Isn't it reassuring to know that the details and logistics aren't yours to worry about? God Himself is managing all aspects behind the scenes. Your only responsibility now is to remain open, expectant, and ready. Keep your energy elevated, your heart receptive, and your mind aligned with this divine truth. Don't let temporary illusions of delay tempt you into doubt or discouragement. The waiting you've endured wasn't punishment, it was preparation. You are no longer being tested. Instead, you are gracefully transitioning into a season of divine abundance. Can you feel it happening within your spirit right now? Your time of manifesting divine rewards has arrived. Your blessing is here, not in some distant future, but right now, already set into motion. Prepare your spirit. This transition will exceed your highest expectations. This massive check is much more than just money. It's a divine catalyst, a sacred marker that signals the beginning of a brand new chapter in your life. Imagine, just for a moment, stepping into an era where abundance flows effortlessly, where financial burdens vanish almost overnight, where dreams you've held close for so long finally receive the resources they deserve. But pause here and ask yourself, what if this blessing goes beyond finances? What if this is a profound spiritual breakthrough, a moment of divine intervention designed specifically to restore your faith in miracles, to reignite your belief that nothing is impossible with God? Recall the powerful assurance in Matthew 19:26. "With man this is impossible, but with God all things are possible." You've believed in this promise, holding tight to faith even when circumstances told you otherwise. Your quiet determination and unwavering trust have not gone unnoticed by the one who holds all abundance in his hands. The massive check you're about to receive is heaven's tangible confirmation that your faithfulness has never been in vain. Indeed, the blessings awaiting you now will go beyond what you've ever imagined. You will witness doors opening without the effort of knocking, resources manifesting without having to ask, and unexpected support arriving without hidden motives or agendas. Can you envision yourself in this new reality? A reality of divine orchestration, where each step you take is guided by God's favor and every outcome surpasses your highest expectations. You aren't simply walking toward wealth, rather, wealth itself is walking directly toward you, purposefully, precisely, and with unstoppable divine momentum. Consider for a moment the extraordinary life journey of actor Jim Carrey, who once wrote himself a $10 million check at a time when he was unknown and financially struggling. Years later, that seemingly impossible dream became a reality. Just as Carrey's act of faith attracted abundance, your persistent belief and consistent faithfulness are now aligning you with similar miraculous overflow. This forthcoming check will do more than clear financial debts. Its deeper purpose is clearing away doubt from your heart and renewing your spirit's strength. Have you noticed how doubt subtly drains your joy and dims your vision over time? God desires not only to provide materially, but to restore your confidence in His endless generosity. This experience will shift your mindset permanently. You'll no longer operate from scarcity, but from a place of divine overflow. In Philippians 4:19, Paul confidently writes, "And my God will meet all your needs according to the riches of His glory in Christ Jesus." The check arriving in your life is a tangible fulfillment of that divine promise. You weren't created to scrape by, surviving paycheck to paycheck, overshadowed by fear and uncertainty. No, you were designed for abundance, intentionally crafted by the Creator Himself to thrive, flourish, and live in overflow. You are stepping into that destined reality right now. This moment of waiting and delay was never God saying no to you. It was God carefully setting the stage for precisely this breakthrough. Picture Esther, whose waiting season led her from obscurity to becoming queen at precisely the right time, enabling her to deliver her entire nation. Your delay, similarly, was a setup for divine timing. Your name, written on heaven's ledger, has come up for a divine payout. Can you sense how meticulously the universe has worked to bring you to this very moment? Celebrate now, even before you physically see the blessing. As Mark 11:24 instructs, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours. Feel gratitude as though the check has already arrived, because energetically and spiritually it already has. Begin speaking abundance over your life even before it materializes, stepping confidently into a frequency of divine provision and supernatural flow. You've felt it, haven't you? That quiet, unmistakable shift in the atmosphere around you, the gentle stirring deep in your spirit, whispering that something remarkable is drawing closer, that circumstances are changing course in your favor. This isn't mere imagination. It's the sacred realignment, the holy repositioning that always occurs just before abundance lands gracefully into your life. You are indeed within a divine window of time, a moment where the universe has officially approved your breakthrough. The massive check is on its way, not simply because you need it, but because you've earned it through faithfulness, obedience, and trust. Embrace this moment fully, chosen one, for this is your time, your long-awaited harvest. God Himself has signed off on your blessing, confirming once again that He has always been with you, working quietly yet powerfully on your behalf. The massive check coming into your life isn't merely symbolic or conceptual, it's absolutely certain, already moving through spiritual channels that only divine forces can access and perceive. You've stood firm through the harshest tests of patience and perseverance, enduring countless seasons of not yet, not now, and almost. You may even wonder at times, how much longer must I wait? But that exhausting cycle of delays has officially concluded, transitioning you into a powerful new reality marked by yes Absolutely. And here it is. Your waiting has transformed from uncertainty into a guaranteed arrival, an abundant overflow designed specifically to reward your steadfast faith. Consider Joseph's story from the book of Genesis. He endured years of unjust imprisonment, trials, and heartbreaking betrayals from his own family. Yet he never lost faith. Have you ever felt similar struggles, waiting patiently while it seemed like nothing changed? Like Joseph, your waiting was never wasted. It was divinely ordained to prepare your spirit. At precisely the right moment, God elevated Joseph from prisoner to ruler, providing an abundance that exceeded anything he ever imagined. Genesis 41:41-43. This mirrors exactly what's happening in your life now, a full recompense and divine promotion that turns your prolonged struggles into profound strength and your apparent delays into perfectly timed blessings. Have you ever heard the remarkable journey of actor Jim Carrey? Before achieving worldwide fame, Carrey wrote himself a check for $10 million, believing fully it would become reality despite his struggles and rejection. He kept that check in his wallet as a constant reminder of his faith and determination. Years later, he earned precisely $10 million for his role in Dumb and Dumber, proving that unwavering faith coupled with divine timing transforms hopeful expectations into certain realities. Just like Jim Carrey, the massive check you're about to receive symbolizes more than money. It embodies the tangible fulfillment of your faith, dedication, and perseverance. You've invested time, prayers, and energy into a destiny that has now matured fully. Do you realize what's happening right now? You've reached a powerful tipping point in your spiritual journey, a divine turning point. Imagine the scale finally shifting in your favor, causing every force that previously resisted you to suddenly yield. That job which seemed completely unattainable now emerges clearly as your divinely appointed assignment. Opportunities that appeared locked behind closed doors swing wide open for you effortlessly. Even financial blessings, which previously felt elusive and distant, are now flowing naturally toward you, attracted by your spiritual magnetism. This isn't mere luck or coincidence. It's a spiritual law activated by your unwavering faith. This profound shift in your life echoes the story of Esther. Her journey from an orphan to queen wasn't coincidence. It was a carefully orchestrated divine plan. At precisely the right moment, God elevated her, ensuring her destiny was fulfilled. Like Esther, you're no longer standing at the threshold. You've crossed it. You've transitioned from a season of seeking and hoping to a new era of receiving and claiming. Remember Esther 4:14. Who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this? Could it be that this is your divinely appointed hour? Right now, something profoundly sacred is unfolding within your life. You're stepping into an entirely new level of spiritual authority, where you're no longer simply reacting to life's circumstances, but actively directing them. When you speak now, situations shift in alignment with your words. When you move, obstacles dissolve in divine obedience. This isn't arrogance or human pride. It's alignment with God's powerful, unchanging promises. It's evidence of the deep synchronization between your spirit and divine will, developed over countless trials and lessons. The scriptures confirm in Proverbs 18:21, "Death and life are in the power of the tongue." Your words have become potent because you've proven yourself trustworthy. You've shown God repeatedly that you can handle the blessing responsibly, that when this massive check and abundant resources enter your life, you won't selfishly hoard them, but generously multiply them. You won't hide your blessings from the world, but joyfully share them. You won't lose sight of your true self amidst abundance. Instead, you'll remain humble, firmly grounded in your divinely appointed purpose. Can you sense how close you are now? This moment marks your entrance into a divine fulfillment so immense, It's more than you've ever dared to ask or imagine. Ephesians 3:20. Hold tight to your faith, because what God has designated specifically for you can't miss you, won't escape you, and can never be lost. Your time has finally arrived. Right now, an extraordinary blessing is heading straight toward you. A massive check sent directly from God's own heart. Have you ever stopped to wonder why such significant abundance is coming into your life at this very moment? This isn't just a stroke of luck or a simple act of kindness from the universe. Rather, it's divine proof that heaven trusts you profoundly, entrusting you with resources and prosperity on a scale you've never seen before. Consider this carefully. The abundance approaching your life isn't just a sign of favor, it's a commissioning, an appointment directly from God. You're stepping into a greater realm of stewardship and responsibility. Much like Solomon, who was blessed immensely by God with wisdom and riches to lead and build up the nation of Israel, 1 Kings 3:5-13, you are receiving divine provision because you have a divine purpose to fulfill. Have you considered what responsibilities accompany such wealth? It's not simply for your survival or personal comfort. It's intended for growth, for the expansion of the kingdom, and for the fulfillment of a vision that's far greater than yourself. Just like Joseph was given authority and resources in Egypt to prepare for years of famine and to save many lives, Genesis 41, you are now being equipped to become a beacon of strength and leadership to others. But pause for a moment and reflect deeply. Can you remember those earlier seasons of your life? Times filled with seemingly relentless struggle. Think back to those days when you had to fiercely guard your faith, fighting inward battles simply to keep believing. Can you recall the silent tears you shed when no one else noticed, the nights of quiet desperation, and the mornings when, despite everything, you rose again with renewed hope? Friend, that was never a sign of weakness. It was the embodiment of divine strength and endurance shaping you. Just as David spent years hiding in caves, enduring countless trials before finally becoming king of Israel. 1 Samuel 24. Your trials have not been meaningless suffering. They've been spiritual boot camp, refining your character, testing your resolve, and preparing you specifically for this blessed moment of abundance. Consider also the story of Jim Carrey, the renowned actor. Long before he became famous, he struggled through immense hardships and poverty, at one point even writing himself a check for $10 million, keeping it in his wallet as a daily reminder of his dreams. His persistent belief, despite circumstances, eventually led him to immense success. Your persistence, your unwavering belief, mirrors this powerful journey. Do you see now that every obstacle you've overcome has been a preparation for this divine season of breakthrough? You've passed heaven's examination, remaining faithful, consistent, and connected to God's deeper promises, even when outward evidence was scarce. Now, that enormous check is your symbolic graduation gift, your reward for standing firm, never surrendering, never disconnecting from the divine vision that has always burned quietly within you. Isn't it incredible how God rewards faithfulness? Now, allow yourself to fully believe this, not halfway, but wholeheartedly. Let the truth of this blessing sink deeply into your spirit. This divine provision isn't just a hopeful wish. It's absolutely real, tangible, and already headed your way. Remember Philippians 4:19, which assures, "And my God will meet all your needs according to the riches of his glory in Christ Jesus." God knows precisely where you are, and the check is already traveling toward your hands. You don't need to fight or struggle for it, nor do you need to plead or labor excessively. The days of striving, begging, overthinking, and exhausting yourself are now coming to a peaceful end. Your job isn't to make this happen. Your only role is to prepare yourself to receive. So let me ask you this. Have you made space in your heart and your life for this magnificent blessing? It's time to clear away every lingering doubt, fear, and the sense of unworthiness that's holding you back. Make a deliberate decision today to remove every obstacle of disbelief, to fully accept your worthiness of receiving abundance, and to acknowledge that you truly deserve what God is preparing for you. Think about it. Everything you've ever prayed for, every vision you've courageously held onto, is now manifesting, moving steadily and surely toward you. Can you feel the shift happening around you? Can you sense heaven orchestrating this moment, declaring boldly, "You are ready, rise, build, and lead. Embrace it fully, for this divine abundance is now yours," personally sealed by God Himself as a testament of His eternal faithfulness and unwavering support. The divine alignment in your life has finally reached completion. Have you noticed how perfectly everything around you has started to synchronize? It's as if your frequency has been precisely tuned to a heavenly melody, creating a resonance that extends far beyond what your eyes can see. Even now, in this very moment, your name is being whispered in rooms you've never entered, discussed by influential individuals you've yet to meet. Just as the Lord prepared Esther's name long before she entered King Xerxes' presence, arranging favor to position her for greatness, Esther 2:17, so too is God orchestrating favor in secret places for you. Picture this clearly. A door you've long awaited is about to swing open before you. As you take your first step through it, there will be no confusion, no hesitation, only a deep, undeniable knowing that this is exactly the blessing you've prayed and patiently waited for. Have you ever wondered what it feels like when God finally answers with a clear and unmistakable yes? You're about to experience this firsthand, a moment of overwhelming peace, clarity, and joy. Indeed, this isn't just an ordinary open door. This is your divine overflow, the manifestation of heaven's favor solidified in tangible form. You are stepping into a brand new dimension of living, one where abundance becomes your everyday reality. Imagine a life where provision flows as effortlessly and continuously as the air you breathe, as natural and reliable as the sunrise itself. Gone are the days of barely getting by, the seasons of scraping, stretching resources, and silently sacrificing your dreams. Those chapters of hardship and quiet endurance have finally closed. Reflect on the widow described in 2 Kings 4, who saw her small jar of oil multiply supernaturally until every vessel she could find was filled. Likewise, you are moving from scarcity into abundance, from survival into thriving. Can you sense the miracles that are already stirring around you? The miracles that have been quietly set into motion by God Himself. Soon, you'll begin witnessing extraordinary provision appearing in your life from the most unexpected sources. Unexpected checks delivered straight to your mailbox, sudden deposits into your bank account, opportunities arriving fully funded and divinely arranged. Like manna in the wilderness, provided daily and without fail, Exodus 16:35. Your financial blessings are being drawn irresistibly to you. You're not chasing wealth. Wealth has started chasing you, magnetized by the divine frequency of your alignment. Think about the famous actor Tyler Perry, who once lived in his car and struggled financially for years before experiencing sudden and profound success. When divine alignment finally arrived in his life, doors swung open effortlessly, transforming him from poverty to prosperity. Your life is now poised for similar dramatic shifts. The massive check coming your way isn't merely money, it carries profound spiritual momentum. It is the key God will use to unlock further opportunities, attract significant new relationships, and elevate the very environment around you. This blessing serves as a catalyst, activating transformation not only within you, but also throughout every aspect of your life. Do you truly grasp the depth of power one divine blessing can possess? Remember, it took just one moment, one miracle of provision, for Peter to catch a miraculous abundance of fish, completely altering his destiny and reaffirming his calling. Luke 5:4-11. Similarly, this single financial miracle about to manifest has the potential to change your entire story, flipping your narrative from struggle to triumph, scarcity to overflow. This isn't a distant hope or a dream reserved for years down the line. It's happening right now. The miracle has already been dispatched from heaven's treasury, and it is actively traveling towards you at this very moment. What if your only task right now is simply to hold on to faith, maintaining the energy of expectation and belief? Stay open, remain available, and keep your heart tuned into the frequency of receiving. Let go of doubts, release any lingering fears or feelings of unworthiness, and allow your spirit to rest confidently in God's promises. Do you understand how critical this posture of receptivity truly is? Your ability to remain steadfast in faith is precisely what positions you to receive what God has already destined for you. Yet, understand that what arrives isn't meant solely for you. It's for everyone connected to your purpose. Have you realized that you're being divinely chosen to become a distribution center for abundance? Like Joseph, who was positioned by God to distribute grain in times of famine, saving countless lives, Genesis 41:57, you are being positioned by heaven to share blessings abundantly. Your overflow will become someone else's answered prayer, your prosperity a source of hope for those still patiently awaiting their own miracles. Are you ready to embrace the weight and joy of this divine responsibility? The season you've long awaited is here. Your miracle, your massive check, is now fully en route, carrying with it divine affirmation that your perseverance has not been in vain. Welcome it with joy and humility, knowing you've been divinely selected to steward such extraordinary blessings. Your breakthrough is going to speak louder and clearer than words ever could. It's a message directly from God, a powerful testament of His faithfulness in your life. Have you ever wondered how your story might impact the lives around you? When others see you thrive, their spirits will be deeply inspired. Your victory will serve as undeniable proof that faith isn't an abstract concept, but a living, breathing force that can manifest extraordinary miracles. Just as when Lazarus was raised from the dead, drawing countless others toward belief in God's limitless power, John 11:43-45, your story of abundance will awaken those around you, reminding them vividly that divine timing is precise, perfect, and never late. As you step into this new season, your heart will overflow with gratitude, fully aware that every moment of difficulty, every seemingly unfair delay, and every harsh test was preparing you precisely for this divine reward. Recall the powerful story of Job, who endured immense loss and suffering, yet emerged with twice the blessings he once had. Job 42:10. Like Job, your trials weren't random. They shaped you, strengthened your character, and prepared you to handle greater blessings with humility and grace. Can you see it clearly now? This massive check on its way to you isn't just about money. It's your ticket to freedom on every imaginable level. Financial freedom, emotional liberation, and spiritual release. Imagine being released from constant anxiety, the relentless pressure of survival, and finally feeling that immense burden lifted off your shoulders. Picture yourself breathing easily, healing deeply, and at last having the space to dream even greater dreams. Like Nelson Mandela, who endured 27 years of imprisonment, yet emerged spiritually, emotionally, and politically free, ready to transform an entire nation, you too are stepping into a season where past restraints will no longer define you. Have you ever sensed deep within your soul that survival mode was never your true calling? Indeed, you're meant to live abundantly, to create boldly, to lead passionately, and to savor life's blessings fully. Now, at this very moment, you're stepping into the beginning of that extraordinary life, the one you've envisioned in your heart but previously seemed just beyond your reach. Yet this life isn't just a hopeful vision anymore. It's swiftly and tangibly becoming your reality. Watch closely and notice how quickly things begin moving around you, one blessing effortlessly leading to another, a single financial breakthrough opening doors to countless opportunities. Remember how swiftly the walls of Jericho fell at the sound of faith-filled obedience, Joshua 6:20. Similarly, you are entering the rapid current of divine favor, the express lane where miracles accelerate, where transformations that once took years will unfold before your eyes within mere months. Why such rapid acceleration? Because you have already completed profound inner work. You've healed deep wounds that few knew existed. You've courageously released past pains, forgiven those who never asked for it, and fully surrendered yourself to divine guidance, even when it was difficult to trust. Now, the external world is finally catching up to the internal alignment you've so diligently cultivated. Like King David, who was refined in obscurity long before he became Israel's greatest king, 1 Samuel 16-17, your hidden preparations have equipped you for this public elevation. Chosen one, can you imagine how beautifully unrecognizable your life is about to become? In the best possible way, you're stepping into experiences once reserved only for your dreams. Soon, you'll find yourself entering prestigious rooms and sitting at tables you've only visualized in moments of quiet prayer. You'll sign contracts you didn't even know existed, opportunities perfectly designed and tailored specifically for you. Consider how actor Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson once stood with only $7 in his pocket, yet through dedication, alignment, and divine timing, he transitioned into realms of influence and abundance beyond imagination. Like him, you're now being entrusted with immense wealth, influence, and power, not for your own glory, but to serve as an example of responsible, compassionate stewardship. You've been uniquely prepared for this very moment, refined in the fire, molded by the potter's hands, tested thoroughly, and found faithful. Are you ready to embrace the full magnitude of this divine trust? The resources heading your way are not only blessings for your life, but are also intended for the greater good. God knows you will manage these gifts wisely, compassionately, and generously, just as Joseph wisely stewarded Egypt's resources to save many during a severe famine, Genesis 41:39-41. Can you feel how close you are to your miracle right now? Your breakthrough isn't coming someday, it's coming now. Receive this truth deeply into your spirit and prepare yourself, not only to receive abundance, but to become a source of hope, encouragement, and inspiration to everyone who witnesses your remarkable journey of faith. The massive check that's headed your way is only the beginning of something far greater than you've imagined. A heavenly down payment on the magnificent destiny that's been prepared for you all along. Have you paused lately to consider just how meticulously heaven has been orchestrating your steps toward this exact moment? The beauty of this blessing is that you were never alone, even during times when solitude felt overwhelmingly real. God was beside you in every silent struggle, every confusing setback, every painful lesson that you thought went unnoticed. Much like Daniel, who faithfully trusted God despite being thrown into the lion's den, Daniel 6:16-23. You've navigated challenging moments, guided quietly but unmistakably by a divine hand. Now, God is standing right with you in your season of celebration, release, and abundant overflow. Isn't it amazing how every difficult moment you've endured has led precisely to this rewarding breakthrough? But this blessing extends far beyond finances. It's deeply about restoration, restoring your dignity, your dreams, and the parts of your spirit that felt overlooked. It's about divine justice finally manifesting, bringing forth the honor, recognition, and reward for all the hidden sacrifices you've made, the late nights, unseen tears, and relentless commitment that no one else ever applauded. Consider Joseph, who was unjustly imprisoned and forgotten, yet in divine timing was elevated to second in command of Egypt, his patience richly rewarded. Genesis 41:39-41. Like Joseph, this check symbolizes heaven's clear message to you. Well done, you stayed the course faithfully. Now it's your turn to receive. Can you truly let this truth settle deep within your heart? Allow yourself to fully embrace that this blessing is already yours. Picture the check. It literally carries your name, personalized and crafted specifically for you. This miracle was custom-made by God, uniquely tailored to your needs and dreams. Don't shrink back in disbelief. Don't diminish yourself by thinking this might be too good for you. Own this moment boldly, embrace it fully, and walk in eager expectation. You haven't journeyed this far, endured this long, or believed this deeply only to leave empty-handed. You've been called by heaven to rise higher, to reign with influence, and now it's finally happening right before your eyes. Do you feel the powerful shift happening around you? Chosen one, you stand at the very edge of a divine unveiling, about to witness firsthand what once seemed so distant: your breakthrough, your financial miracle, and the abundant life you've always envisioned. And perhaps the greatest joy of all, you don't even need to chase it. This divine blessing is moving decisively and unapologetically toward you, drawn directly to the frequency you've cultivated through unwavering faith. Imagine how effortlessly blessings began to follow King Solomon once he aligned his desires with God's will, receiving not only wisdom, but extraordinary wealth without having to pursue it. 1 Kings 3:5-13. Similarly, the universe knows precisely where you are, knows your address by heart, and knows exactly when to deliver the miracle you've long prepared for. Have you realized you're no longer in the season of waiting? You've stepped out of life's spiritual waiting room and entered directly into heaven's delivery room. Consider the extraordinary life journey of author J.K. Rowling, who endured countless rejections and deep financial hardship before the miraculous breakthrough of her globally celebrated Harry Potter series. Rowling didn't chase fame or wealth. Abundance found her at the precise moment her heart was ready. In the same way, your massive check, this life-altering, destiny-accelerating miracle, is already making its way toward you, propelled by unstoppable momentum, divine force, and absolute perfect timing. It has already traversed spiritual realms you can't see, navigated around hidden obstacles you weren't even aware existed, and now it is about to boldly announce its arrival into your reality. Can you sense its closeness? Imagine the moment when it finally arrives, when it loudly declares, "I am here." How will your heart respond to this powerful manifestation of God's faithfulness? How different will your life become from that very moment forward? Chosen one, your life is about to become beautifully unrecognizable in every good way. Opportunities will chase after you. Doors you never even knew existed will swing open effortlessly, and you'll walk confidently into realms of influence previously unseen. Just as God promised Israel through the prophet Joel, "I will repay you for the years the locusts have eaten." Joel 2:25. You too will experience profound restoration, multiplied blessings, and divine recompense for every hardship endured. You've done the inner work, healed your wounds, surrendered fully, and remained steadfastly faithful. Now, God is honoring that faithfulness openly and abundantly. Are you ready to embrace the magnitude of this divine unveiling? The massive check isn't just coming, it's nearly here. And once it lands, everything about your life will accelerate rapidly into realms of blessing, prosperity, and fulfillment that once seemed impossible. Chosen one, your moment has arrived. Heaven's spotlight is shining on you right now. Welcome it with gratitude and expectation, because your extraordinary story is just beginning. Everything in your life is shifting right now. Can you sense it? There is a sacred rhythm to the way this divine blessing is unfolding. It's neither hurried nor slow. Rather, it's intentional, powerful, and precisely timed. Just as Ecclesiastes 3:1 beautifully states, "To everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under heaven. Your moment has now come." God is delivering this breakthrough to you at a point where your heart, mind, and spirit are fully prepared to receive it, enabling you to steward it wisely and gracefully. Reflect deeply. Can you recognize how far you've come spiritually and emotionally? You've courageously completed the necessary shedding of old patterns, mindsets, and fears. You've let go of limiting beliefs about scarcity, breaking free from environments and circles that once kept you small. Think of Abraham, who had to leave familiar territories behind to step into the promised land of abundance and purpose. Genesis 12:1-3. Like him, you've bravely ventured forward, stepping into a space of limitless possibilities and divine alignment. The universe is now responding not out of pity or chance, but as a powerful partner, recognizing your readiness and your alignment with God's greater vision. Imagine clearly what is now unfolding. Soon you'll witness a surreal outpouring of resources in your life. Money will flow freely into areas once marked by lack. Opportunities will suddenly emerge where doors had previously slammed shut. Unexpected financial deposits and divine collaborations will appear, beautifully personalized with your name already written on them. Does this sound too good to be true? Remember how the Israelites experienced streams in the desert and manna from heaven, receiving provision exactly when they needed it most. Isaiah 43:19, Exodus 16:4. Likewise, your blessing isn't fantasy. It's the very real next chapter of your divinely orchestrated story. Consider the life journey of actor and filmmaker Tyler Perry. After years of hardship and obscurity, his breakthrough moment came at precisely the right time, neither too early nor too late. Suddenly, resources, people, and opportunities began to appear effortlessly, confirming he was perfectly aligned with his divine timing. In a similar fashion, your massive check isn't merely compensation for the difficult seasons behind you. It's arriving to demonstrate unmistakably that God's timing always surpasses human expectations. You're not simply receiving financial relief. You're gaining access to divine inspiration, unique opportunities, innovative strategies, and creative solutions. You'll begin to hear differently, see with profound clarity, and feel inspired to take bold, faith-driven actions that open previously inaccessible gates of wealth and influence. Welcome now to your overflow zone, where blessings multiply rapidly. Can you visualize it? Imagine one single opportunity quickly blossoming into 5, one breakthrough sparking a powerful, unstoppable chain reaction of abundance. This zone of overflow will become your new normal, your daily reality. In fact, you'll no longer ask, "Is this possible?" Instead, your heart will be so saturated in God's abundance that your primary question will shift to, "How can I serve others powerfully with all these blessings?" Remember King Solomon, whose divine abundance enabled him to serve an entire nation wisely and generously. 1 Kings 4:29-34. You are stepping into a similar calling of generous stewardship. Have you fully grasped the sacred responsibility attached to this blessing? The check on its way isn't merely a reward. It's a divine commission, placing in your hands the power and responsibility to bless others. Think of philanthropist and entrepreneur Robert F. Smith, who famously paid off the student debt for an entire graduating class, transforming countless lives with a single act of generosity. Just like him, you're being entrusted by God to fund visions, elevate dreams, and become a vessel of transformative impact for others. You're becoming a divine channel, a blessing bearer, whose very presence brings elevation, hope, and empowerment to those around you. Chosen one, Can you feel the magnitude of this calling on your life? Embrace it boldly, knowing this blessing isn't solely for personal enrichment. It's a key entrusted to you, one designed to unlock destinies, not only for yourself, but also for everyone connected to your purpose. You've become the living proof that alignment with the divine rhythm inevitably leads to supernatural abundance. Now, more clearly than ever, you stand ready at the threshold of fulfillment. Heaven's delivery of your massive check and divine overflow is imminent. As it arrives, watch your reality transform dramatically and beautifully before your very eyes. Remember, this isn't just abundance, it's your divine assignment to share it generously and joyfully. Your abundance isn't merely for you, it's a divine beacon, illuminating the path for countless others who have begun to lose faith, hope, and strength along their own journeys. Have you considered the powerful ripple effect your prosperity will create? People around you who've felt defeated or disillusioned will suddenly find themselves believing again, trusting again, and rising again. When they witness your transformation, they'll be reminded vividly that miracles still happen, that God's promises remain true, and that divine favor isn't reserved for some distant future. It's here, accessible right now. Think of yourself as a modern-day Abraham who, through faith and endurance, received extraordinary promises from God. Hebrews 6:15. The abundance now entering your life isn't random. It's recognition of your incredible endurance. You didn't receive this blessing simply by checking off spiritual tasks or outward actions, but rather through steadfastness, authenticity, and resilience in the face of severe trials. You chose healing even when bitterness tried to take root, maintained softness and openness when life seemed harsh, and you nurtured your vision when external circumstances suggested giving up. Can you see clearly now how these quiet acts of faith and persistence matter deeply to God? Heaven does not overlook such profound devotion. Instead, it rewards it abundantly and exponentially. Consider the story of actor Robert Downey Jr., who faced severe setbacks, struggles, and rejection, yet persevered through intense personal challenges. Eventually, his commitment and resilience were richly rewarded with extraordinary success, influence, and redemption. Like Downey, your persistent faith and unwavering devotion have not gone unnoticed by God. The massive check that's coming to you symbolizes more than just financial gain. It represents divine honor, a heavenly acknowledgement of your unshakable loyalty to the often difficult spiritual process you've embraced. Reflect deeply on your journey. You didn't merely survive the challenges placed before you. Instead, you evolved profoundly through every obstacle and hardship. This evolved version of yourself receiving today's blessings isn't the same person who initially prayed for them years ago. Can you sense how you've grown wiser, more discerning, and elevated in spirit? Like Gideon, who was refined from timid uncertainty to courageous leadership. Judges 6-7. Your capacity to hold, manage, and impact has significantly expanded. God has shaped you into a powerful vessel, fully prepared to steward greater abundance and influence. This is precisely why the financial blessing heading toward you is immense. Your ability to responsibly receive and wisely manage this wealth has grown dramatically. Now, God is about to fill your life beyond the brim with abundance, trust, and opportunities. Get ready, because you're about to see the word approved appear boldly in spaces where you once faced rejection, disappointment, and denial. Doors that previously seemed permanently shut will suddenly swing open effortlessly. Where you've heard hesitant maybes, you'll soon hear confident, enthusiastic yeses. Do you recognize the immense shift unfolding before your eyes? This financial miracle is a divine form of compensation for every moment you felt overlooked, undervalued, or misunderstood. Have you ever thought about how beautifully God is able to correct and realign everything in His perfect timing? This massive check is precisely that, a spiritual correction, a divine realignment from heaven. Imagine God whispering directly into your heart, "I saw every tear, every sacrifice, every moment of quiet suffering, and now I'm responding personally, profoundly, and generously." Just like Joseph, who endured betrayal, imprisonment, and forgotten promises, yet was ultimately elevated to great authority and abundant blessing. Genesis 41:41-44. Your season of waiting has ended. This breakthrough isn't coincidence or random good fortune. It's precisely the reward God always intended for you. Now, after a journey filled with tests and quiet growth, the divine blessing you've patiently awaited has finally caught up to your faithfulness. You'll recognize it instantly when it arrives. It won't be subtle. It will feel as if something extraordinary has shifted in the atmosphere itself. Imagine yourself feeling light, clear-minded, joyful, and deeply aligned. Suddenly, things around you will flow smoothly, not because you've worked harder or forced outcomes, but because you've finally become perfectly synchronized with God's divine plan. Can you envision living each day with such ease, joy, and clarity? Chosen one, this is your time. The divine abundance you've waited so long for isn't just on the horizon. It's already drawing near. Allow yourself to embrace this truth fully, knowing your extraordinary breakthrough will become a powerful testimony, inspiring hope, faith, and revival in all those who watch your beautiful story unfold. Soon, you'll find yourself laughing gently at how complicated you once thought everything had to be. Have you ever imagined the relief of realizing that achieving your dreams could be so effortless? You'll marvel at how swiftly and elegantly each puzzle piece finds its perfect fit, how smoothly each blessing effortlessly falls into alignment. Deep within your heart, you'll know clearly, this was always God's plan. This abundance was always meant for you. It had your name written on it long before you ever knew it existed. And what's even more miraculous, this massive check arriving isn't merely a one-time event. It marks the opening of a continuous flow of divine abundance. Have you ever considered what sustained, recurring blessings truly feel like? Once heaven unlocks this door of provision, it remains open indefinitely, like the widow's jar of oil in 2 Kings 4 that flowed endlessly, sustaining her family. You are now permanently tuned into a frequency where abundance becomes your consistent reality. Your life will shift from sporadic miracles to ongoing, uninterrupted provision. As you look back, you'll recognize this moment as the pivotal turning point, the precise moment your journey accelerated dramatically. Have you noticed how the universe has shifted from testing your faith to trusting you deeply? This massive check symbolizes exactly that shift. Divine trust, acknowledgement from God Himself that you've been thoroughly prepared, molded, and refined to handle great wealth responsibly. Your quiet years of perseverance and secret preparation have now positioned you to prosper publicly. Others around you will be astonished, asking in disbelief, "How did this happen so quickly?" They won't see the hidden chapters, the years spent patiently enduring trials and growing stronger, but you'll know the truth. You'll smile gently, confidently, holding the quiet assurance that your patience and dedication in obscurity have finally been rewarded openly by heaven. You are not merely favored, you are divinely funded. Isn't that an incredible realization? You don't need to second-guess this blessing or question its validity. It's already happening. And the more deeply you embrace it, the more swiftly it flows. Can you sense the power of truly leaning into your divine inheritance? Take a moment right now to declare boldly and clearly, "My massive check is already on its way. I am open, I am aligned, I am ready." Let your spoken words match your inner energy. Let your inner energy match your boldest vision. This spiritual posture, a posture of complete alignment and confident expectation, is precisely how you step gracefully into a life of divine abundance. When your blessing arrives, there will be no confusion or doubt. It will be unmistakably clear, solid, and unquestionably divine. People will soon approach you, amazed and curious, asking, "How did you manifest such incredible abundance?" And with a peaceful smile, you'll respond simply and clearly, "Divine timing, faith, and alignment." Have you ever considered that these three elements, divine timing, faith, and alignment, will become your powerful legacy, your living testimony? Always remember, the divine provision you're receiving isn't merely about temporary financial relief. It represents complete financial freedom. This kind of freedom allows you to make every decision from a place of profound peace rather than pressure. Imagine being empowered to confidently walk away from anything that no longer serves your highest purpose. Imagine having the boldness and generosity to live unapologetically, joyfully, and abundantly, free from limitations. This is precisely what the massive check brings into your life: liberation, expansion, and absolute certainty. Just as Moses confidently led Israel out of bondage toward freedom, Exodus 14, your blessing will grant you the courage to leave behind scarcity and step into a life of purpose-filled abundance. Have you ever worried that you missed your moment, made irreversible mistakes, or fell behind schedule? Let this divine message reassure you deeply. You have not missed your appointed time. You have not messed up beyond redemption. You haven't fallen behind or arrived late. Right now, in this very instant, you are precisely on time, exactly on track, and perfectly aligned with everything heaven always intended you to receive. Your time is now. Your abundance is real. And this incredible blessing arriving soon is absolute proof that your faithfulness has indeed paid off, exponentially. The massive check coming your way is far more than financial abundance. It is tangible proof of a profound spiritual truth. You are fully supported, intimately guided, and completely enveloped in divine favor. Can you feel the strength of this truth resonating within your spirit right now? This powerful blessing, which once seemed distant or nearly impossible, is now unfolding right before your eyes. It's already approaching rapidly, closer than you've imagined, stronger than you've sensed, and infinitely more impactful than you've dared to dream. Chosen one, pause for a moment and let this reality truly sink in. You've made it, not just to this message, but through every step, every challenge, and every quiet battle you've faced on your path. Reflect for a moment on those sleepless nights when your prayers were whispered softly, mixed with tears and profound yearning. Remember those silent struggles, the battles you fought bravely in the hidden places of your heart, the ones that only you and God knew about. Just like Hannah, who quietly poured out her heart in fervent prayer before God, unseen by others yet deeply heard by heaven, 1 Samuel 1:10-17. Your secret moments of faithfulness have not gone unnoticed. Think of someone like renowned filmmaker Steven Spielberg, whose groundbreaking success was preceded by silent perseverance, countless rejections, and unseen battles. Spielberg held fast to his vision, even when circumstances suggested giving up was reasonable. In the same manner, your commitment to believing in something bigger, despite every obstacle around you, has positioned you precisely at the threshold of an extraordinary miracle that has already been divinely set into motion. The massive check, the financial breakthrough, and the life-changing abundance arriving in your life aren't merely fantasies or distant hopes. They're your reality, unfolding at this very instant. You are entering a profoundly sacred moment of transition, standing in a divine space between the life you've known, which is gracefully dissolving, and the extraordinary life you were always destined to experience. Can you sense the power of this shift already? Soon, this transition will become unmistakable. You will recognize it clearly as a deep peace suddenly wraps itself around you like a comforting blanket. You'll feel it distinctly when opportunities effortlessly align, resistance fades, and once closed doors open dramatically before you, much like Peter, who was miraculously freed from prison as doors swung open by themselves. Acts 12:6-10. Have you imagined what it feels like to experience such divine ease? Rest assured, these occurrences aren't random coincidences. They're divine confirmations. Each blessing arriving is heaven's direct response, tangible evidence that everything you've courageously believed and patiently waited for is now finally manifesting in your life. This massive check is infinitely more than just paper and ink. Imagine God personally whispering to you, saying, "I've witnessed every struggle, every tear you've shed in silence, every quiet act of faith you've bravely made when strength felt out of reach. I haven't forgotten a single one." And the blessing on its way is precise, powerful, and perfectly orchestrated in divine timing. Just as Joseph's timing in Egypt was meticulously planned by God to save countless lives during famine, Genesis 41. The timing of your abundance is equally purposeful. Have you realized that your blessing isn't coming a moment too soon or too late? It's perfectly synchronized with your readiness. The impact of this financial miracle will ripple far beyond mere financial relief. It will touch and transform every aspect of your existence. Can you imagine the profound freedom and liberation awaiting you? Feel the burden you've carried so long finally lifting from your shoulders. Envision anxiety, once heavy in your chest, gently melting away, replaced by peace and assurance. The constant internal dialogue of, "How am I going to make this work?" will soon be replaced by an unshakable inner knowing. Everything is already working beautifully for me. Picture waking each morning with an ease you haven't experienced in years. Your breath will come easier, your smile brighter, and your outlook more joyful. Look around. Soon you'll recognize clearly you're no longer living day to day in survival mode. Instead, you'll be thriving abundantly, flourishing in the fullness of life God always intended for you. Are you ready to step fully into this beautiful new reality? The divine provision that's rapidly approaching is about to rewrite your story profoundly, transforming your testimony from one of perseverance in scarcity to one of abundant flourishing. Receive this deeply into your heart. The season of struggle is over, and your divine season of sustained abundance has already begun. The divine wealth now entering your life isn't ordinary. It doesn't arrive weighed down by hidden conditions or strings attached, nor does it place pressure on you to perform or prove yourself. Instead, this is elevated, empowered, and overflowing abundance, pure and unburdened, designed specifically by God, not just to fill your hands, but to liberate your very soul. Can you imagine the freedom of experiencing wealth so pure that it empowers you spiritually as much as it blesses you materially? This extraordinary provision arrives to position you perfectly for greater expansion, elevation, and purposeful impact. Consider Solomon, who was entrusted by God with unprecedented riches and wisdom, not merely for his comfort, but to establish a kingdom whose influence blessed countless lives. 1 Kings 10:23-24. Similarly, the divine abundance now flowing into your life serves a grander vision, enabling you to dream again, not from a standpoint of limitation or scarcity, but from an expansive mindset that boldly asks, what else becomes possible now that I'm fully supported by divine favor? Have you ever paused to realize that what once felt like endless delays and frustrating waiting periods were actually part of a meticulously crafted divine schedule? Although at times you might have believed heaven had overlooked your prayers, you were never being punished or ignored. Rather, you were quietly, carefully being prepared, much like Moses, who spent 40 years in obscurity being refined in the desert before finally stepping into his great mission. Exodus 3. Your waiting was refining you, shaping you into the resilient, wise, and capable steward you are today. Now that your refining process is complete, heaven's rewards can flow freely toward you. This massive check you're about to receive symbolizes far more than money. It symbolizes the divine removal of every blockage that previously stood between you and the elevated life you were destined for. Can you sense how swiftly barriers and obstacles are dissolving around you even now? Consider the inspiring journey of author Paulo Coelho, whose early dreams and desires were repeatedly met with resistance, rejection, and delay. Yet, his faithful perseverance through seasons of refining ultimately brought him enormous success, allowing him to impact millions through his writings. Like Coelho, the divine timing of your abundance, though seemingly delayed, is perfectly synchronized with the fullness of your readiness. As this abundance manifests tangibly in your life, those around you will certainly notice, not merely the noticeable increase in your finances, but more profoundly, the transformation in your very presence. You'll begin carrying yourself with a renewed and gentle authority, an unmistakable yet humble confidence born from a deep awareness of your divine identity. Have you considered how your energy will shift as you walk with the quiet confidence of one who knows they are fully chosen, deeply favored, and abundantly funded by heaven itself? This shift isn't arrogance or pride, it's the peaceful clarity of someone who fully comprehends their worthiness, their divine alignment, and the powerful responsibility entrusted to them. When Joseph stepped into Pharaoh's palace, his countenance changed, no longer burdened, but empowered with the confident authority of someone whose faith had been validated through divine blessing. Genesis 41:41-43. Like Joseph, you're stepping into your purpose with profound confidence, peace, and clarity, fully aware of the sacred role you've been divinely chosen to fulfill. Can you feel this remarkable shift occurring within you already? This is precisely what divine timing looks and feels like: perfect, intentional, and purposeful. Embrace this sacred moment fully, knowing that the wealth flowing into your life will empower you to dream bigger, love deeper, and impact more profoundly. The universe isn't just rewarding you, it's entrusting you, setting you apart as a shining example of what happens when persistent faith meets perfect divine timing. You are ready. Your moment has arrived, and the abundance coming toward you right now is a vivid reminder of God's eternal promise. For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Jeremiah 29:11. Are you prepared to receive everything God has carefully and lovingly prepared for you? Because, chosen one, it's already yours. When this abundant blessing finally arrives in your life, you'll find there's no need to convince anyone of your worth or explain why you're deserving. Have you ever thought about the powerful way your presence alone can communicate? Your newfound energy, radiating peace, strength, and quiet confidence, will speak volumes, far louder and clearer than any words could ever articulate. People around you will sense the unmistakable glow of divine favor, much like when Moses descended Mount Sinai, his face radiant from being in God's presence. Exodus 34:29. Your spiritual alignment and divine favor will be self-evident, undeniable, and transformative. But here's the deeper beauty. This blessing doesn't end with you. Have you considered the magnitude of generational impact you're about to create? This massive check isn't merely financial. It carries the power to profoundly shift the trajectory of your entire bloodline. Like Abraham, whose faith and obedience set the stage for generational blessings, making him the father of many nations. Genesis 17:4-7. You too will become the ancestor future generations speak of proudly. They'll remember your name, honoring you as the courageous one who broke cycles of poverty, limitation, and scarcity, converting them into legacies of abundance, freedom, and purpose. Imagine becoming the pivotal figure in your family's history, the one whose courage and faith redirected the destiny of everyone who follows. Think for a moment about Oprah Winfrey's difficult beginnings, growing up in poverty, enduring numerous hardships, and ultimately becoming the transformative figure whose financial empowerment altered the trajectory of her entire family and inspired millions worldwide. In a similar way, the divine abundance arriving now will empower you to create permanent and far-reaching change. You're not just receiving money, you're receiving divine authority, a spiritual mandate to establish lasting impact. Have you fully grasped the depth of this calling? Chosen ones aren't called merely to prosper for their own sake, but to blaze trails, paving pathways of hope, opportunity, and transformation for generations to come. As this divine provision begins flowing into your life, something equally precious will accompany it: clarity. Have you ever dreamed of clearly knowing your next steps without confusion or hesitation? Now, you'll possess unmistakable discernment, understanding exactly what to do with each blessing you receive. Dreams and visions you've previously put aside, perhaps because resources seemed scarce or opportunities felt unreachable, will suddenly reappear, ready to be pursued boldly. Think of Joseph, who once sat forgotten in prison, holding on to dreams of greatness until divine provision and timing made it possible for him to fulfill his destiny, changing countless lives. Genesis 41. Just like Joseph, your own visions buried deep within your heart will finally receive every resource needed to flourish. What dream have you set aside that's now ready to come forward again? Maybe it's writing the book that's lived within your heart for years, launching the business you envisioned, funding missions that align with your soul's purpose, generously supporting those you love, or finally giving yourself the space and support to heal. Picture yourself living a life fully reflective of the richness and depth of your spirit, unburdened by limitations, completely free to thrive and inspire. Can you visualize yourself stepping fully into this abundant future where scarcity is only a distant memory? This isn't fantasy, it's your imminent reality. Your story will soon be the testimony of someone who faithfully endured, courageously believed, and boldly transformed struggle into legacy. You are precisely where you need to be, at the threshold of miracles, fully equipped to turn divine abundance into lasting change. Are you ready to embrace this powerful shift? Because, chosen one, it's already unfolding, perfectly orchestrated by heaven's hand, exactly as promised. As we come to the end of this powerful message, I want you to carry this truth with you. God's provision for your life is not just a possibility, it is an unshakable promise. The massive check that you've been waiting for, whether it's financial, emotional, or spiritual, is already on its way. Your faith and patience are leading you to a moment of divine breakthrough, and you can trust that God's plans for you are always greater than anything you could imagine. He is never late, and His timing is always perfect. Through every challenge you've faced, God has been shaping you, preparing you, and positioning you for this moment. Know that He is with you, guiding you, and working behind the scenes on your behalf. Just as He provided for the Israelites in the wilderness, He will provide for you in ways that will leave you in awe. Your provision is not limited to what the world can offer. It comes directly from the hand of God. If this message has stirred something within you, I encourage you to consider supporting this ministry through a super thanks donation. Your generosity helps to spread these life-changing messages further. Whether you decide to donate or not, I want you to know how deeply I appreciate your presence, your prayers, and your support. Thank you for being a part of this community. As we close, I invite you to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to hear this encouraging word today. Leave a comment, Let us know how God is working in your life and how we can continue to pray for you. Your voice is important, and your testimony can inspire others who are walking through their own struggles. May God bless you abundantly and richly. May His favor surround you like a shield, and may His love cover you in every circumstance. You are His chosen one, and His plans for you are filled with hope and a future beyond your wildest dreams. Keep your faith strong, stay obedient, and watch how God will manifest His promises in your life.